Okay, so we are about to listen to Mr. Christopher tell us about quality of a workforce and other things that he would like us to know. Okay, can you continue? Thank you.
Yes, so welcome to my presentation of what makes a quality workforce as a part of the Human Capital course from Dr. Emmanuel. First, let's take a look at what actually means quality workforce. It refers to a group and not just single employees, because as the workforce can't be just employees of a company, but it's the entire company and the people working for it. And it is basically a collective group that possesses the necessary skills to implement into the future and the progress of the company and drive it forward. And really important parts about this are productivity, adaptability, engagement, because you have to work together, and collaboration. And it really makes the team. So it's not just about the hard skills on how good somebody can code, for example, in an IT company, or how good somebody is with numbers, but also the soft skills. So how does somebody present? How does he interact with his superiors or some interns here? So let's take a look into the agenda. First of all, we are going to start with attraction, then with the development of a quality workforce, how to maintain a quality workforce, and lastly, what role does human resources participate in a quality workforce. Beginning with the attraction of talent. Why? Because if you hire good quality talent, then it's the first step into a great workforce to build. And first of all, the goal is that you get people to want working for you. Because if they actually like working for you and they like the companies that they work for, then they will be more productive and drive towards your goals. And a really good part to do this is with the stories. For example, taking a look into SpaceX or Tesla. Tesla promotes sustainability for the future, electric vehicles, less carbon dioxide, and SpaceX wants to get us to the Mars and make the human species a multiplanetary company. So they have both great stories. And maybe not every company can have a good story, but most of them have. So, for example, if you work in the pharmaceutical industry, you cure cancer, or you make new medications for patients, or even if you work in the building industry, then you build new roads, maybe new streets, new trains for people to travel faster. Next is the compensation. I think every job is about money, because people need the money and want to spend money. So it's definitely a big part about attracting talent. How much are the people going to be compensated for their job? And continuing with benefits. Examples for these are sports, healthcare, but also less notable things like, for example, the pension. How much does the company pay into your own pension account? Do they have a separate program from the one of the state? And lastly, I wanted to mention the culture, because every company has a work culture, and this can be an advantage for the company or a disadvantage. Because if you have a great culture, then your employees are overall more happy, and they maybe work harder instead of being discouraged. And how do you actually build a quality workforce and attract the right talent? There are different recruitment strategies. For example, university days, job fairs, or simply advertising. I think for me, what I noticed at university, that these university hiring days are a really good program to start connecting with students, because a lot of students don't know what they want to do for work afterwards. And by connecting with them and giving them some insight into your company, it's a great way to start hiring them, and maybe getting them for an internship or a working student position. Next on, something I was part of myself is High and Hired. It was a fast hiring process. Basically, as part of the university days, you spoke to a recruitment officer, and then he left you his details, for example, his email address, and you could just write him, and within, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, I secured my first internship. And I think this hire and hire policy is something where companies could improve on, because it's just making the hiring process so easy for the students. They don't have to look into the company themselves, because the company gets towards them, and they just have to upload their CV and some script about why they want to join the company. And then it's basically just 1 or 2 recruitment days where you actually speak with the recruiter, and then you get hired. And lastly, we have diversity. It's not only the quotas that you have to fulfill, but also, as we mentioned in the presentation before, you gain new perspective by having different cultures work for you. Now, continuing with the development, once you've hired talent, you should take a look into how you develop the talent. And to begin with, I think let's start with the education. The education shouldn't stop with you having hired somebody into a job. It should continue. So you have 2 options for it: internal as well as external education. The internal education would be workshops, some seminars you organize, maybe learning from your managers who work at the companies, or even videos. So for example, if you had a workshop, you should record it and upload it for the next generations of workers to see. The next thing I want to mention is mentorship. This can be a one-to-one mentorship. So, for example, one new employee and one old employee who are paired together. So the mentor can share his personal experiences with the new employee, but it can also be on a group level. So, for example, if you hire 10 new interns and everybody has his mentor, they should also connect to each other, because maybe you have a question that another one already answered and he can help you with it. Furthermore, the career path is really important, because if you have a career path in front of you, how you can get promoted, how you move up to a new pay raise, then you actually know what is expected of you and what you should do. And talking of expectations, the expectations are also really important, because if you don't know what's expected of you, how can you fulfill these expectations? So you actually need a workforce who knows what is expected of them, so they can perform accordingly. And lastly is feedback, but it's not just in one direction, but both directions, so upwards and downwards, because your new hires should tell the progress of their hiring process, how they could have an easier hiring process, so it can be improved for new generations, but as well as downwards, because if you had new hires, they need to know on how to adjust, how to perform better, what they maybe did wrong and can do better. So coming to the maintenance of a quality workforce, maybe the most important part of my presentation is the maintenance, because you have put a lot of money and effort into hiring good people and training them, and now you don't want them to leave and go for your competitor, you want them to stay. The first point I wanted to mention here is the work-life balance. This could be, for example, having a free time on Christmas or on New Year's, even though you don't have any vacation days left. Or, for example, having the option to take a sabbatical, which is more common with newer companies and modern companies. So take a 1-year break to travel the world, gain new experiences, and then come back to your job without having to reapply. Also the flexibility of home office or part-time is a really big part of work-life balance. If somebody gets a child or just needs to take some time off, or maybe wants to do a master program after they started working, then it's really good to have like a part-time contract option or even home office. Opportunity is also key. And basically the opportunity part is having room for own ideas for your workers. Because if they think that they can create something on their own, then these opportunities create basically themselves, and the companies can improve. That's what you see at big companies like Google or Facebook, that some employees get time like 1 hour per week to work on their own project, and the company benefits from this as well, because if the project is successful, then they have a new project they can use. Motivation. maybe you should see results of your work, which leads back to the purpose of the company, which I talked in the previous chapter, that every company should have a story to motivate their workers. And in some areas, this motivation can be great, but there are also some areas where it's more difficult, like, for example, the transportation area, where in the transportation industry is the great purpose or story that you should tell the people. And lastly, we have empowerment. If you make people feel influential and engaged, then they are feel more positive about the work environment and maybe put in more effort into the work they perform. So continuing with the maintenance, the employee confidence is key. You need to acknowledge and address uncertainties for your employees, because this leads to more confidence in your employees. And if your employee believes in themselves that they can do something, then their work is going to benefit from it. And also there's communication. If you communicate with your employees and co-workers, then it's a great way to connect with them on a personal level and a social level, which could lead to more efficient working. And for examples for this would be firm events, like internal firm events, a Christmas party or something, or team level events. If you have a project that you worked in with like 10 people, maybe you should grab some food afterwards, or go on some journey together, so you really connect with those people. Lastly, let's check what the role of HR is, because human resources is really important for all of these steps. The hiring process begins with human resources. The evaluation, the internal data gathered is all by the human resources. The feedback you get, and basically the more resources you put into human resources in terms of money or new employees who work there, the more you get out of it, because you invest basically in your own company and in your sales. And we have this slide from Ravin Yesuthasan, who's actually saying that this revolution is like the fourth industrial revolution, and the future of work is comparable to our next revolution in the industry, because with all the technology we gain nowadays, we must not forget about people themselves, because it's still a human-centric work experience. AI isn't going to replace us soon. There isn't all the robots working, but it's actually the humans. And if you only focus on where to save money, where to use AI, robots, remote work, then you don't really focus on the humans who are working for you anymore. So companies have to adapt to these changes. So coming to the conclusion, first of all, hiring is essential. Without hiring the right talent, no matter how much you train them or how good is your feedback process, you won't get the results you're looking for. HR is also key, as I just said, because the HR department is responsible for hiring, training, internal evaluation. Next, the vision of the company. I think it's also necessary to have a clear and good vision for the future. What is the purpose of my doing here? Why should people come and work for me instead of something else? You also have to gather data, because if you don't have any data you can rely on, it's really hard to improve yourself. And you shouldn't be afraid of expenses, because in the long run it really pays out to invest a lot in your own departments. So thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so can we entertain, can we ask our questions for him?
Chris, please.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for the presentation. It was very good. I had one question, actually. I was wondering, how can a company best motivate their employees?
That's a good question. And I think I talked about it in my slide about attracting talent. So I think a big part of the motivation leads back to the stories I told you, because if the people believe they can change something for the future, building rockets, renewable cars, inventing some medicine, then they really want to do it themselves, and they really think that the company goal aligns with their personal goal, so they are more motivated. But there are also different aspects like the compensation. If a company pays a lot of money, then some people would be attracted to that company more, or the benefits you get with the company. So you can really motivate people, not just by what your company does, but what extra perks they get if they work for you instead of the competitor.
Maybe one following up question to that. In your opinion, what is the number one benefit that employees are attracted to?
I mean, the most basic thing is the compensation, but I think the number one thing is the culture at the company. Because if I don't like the employees or the people I work with, then every day I get into work, I feel bad about myself, and I can't enjoy it. And if I dislike what I'm doing, then I'm not going to be doing it for long. So I think the culture is really key.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Okay, then I have the next question. You already talked a little bit about the work-life balance, and I wanted to ask, how does the work-life balance influence people's job decision?
Great question. I think the work-life balance influences the decision upon hiring the most. So it's not after I am at a company, but before I choose the company I work for. Because a lot of people, they aren't focused on one single career path. So it's not just like, I'm 18 and I know what I'm going to do the rest of the 40 years of my life. So having some flexibility, for example, especially for women who maybe want to get children, having the flexibility to work from home or work part-time, maybe take a sabbatical 1 year off, or even people who want to travel after a few years. This work-life balance is really important when deciding for a job. So the companies should basically put the information about the work-life balances at their company out, so people can read about it and maybe become more motivated to join the company in the first place.
So I have actually two questions. I'm starting with the first because the question refers to the slide we are looking at right now. It's about the hire and hired process. You said you personally experienced it. Can you please go into more detail with it? And can you please explain why companies, in your opinion, should focus more on that? Why would you recommend companies to use this process?
So for me, it was when starting university. We had two companies who participated in this hire and hire process. And it's basically in the first semester, before the start of the semester, they would introduce themselves in a quick presentation, and you could ask questions and connect with the hiring team. And this was basically a fast track without needing to search for different companies online and applying for them in the long run. But you got your connection there, you could send in your application, and then within, I think, 2 weeks, you had your interview, and after 1 month, they told you if they hired you or not. And this is really important because you actually get the students before they even start with their semester work. And doing this fast track, you hire a bunch of talent, and maybe some of them won't perform, but you will definitely hire a few of them who will perform very goodly. And by doing so, you actually secure the talent within your company. So before they are looking into other companies, which they would work for, they actually work for you. And if they like it there, then they will stay there, and you hire great talent early in the career and have a lot of time spending development into this talent. Yeah. And your second question?
Yes, the second question is about the quality workforce in general. And what do you think? How the quality workforce will be replaced by technology like AI in the future? Can you give me like a statement about this?
I personally see AI just as a tool to use by your employees. So I don't really think that there's going to be massive layoffs in every aspect of people's companies. Of course, there are some areas where this will happen and AI will replace the worker. But in most areas, I think it's combining the AI and the workers at your company, the employees in your company, to work together. That's why actually the development of certain skills with the AI, how to work with it, how to ask it the right questions, is really key, and you should use it to build your quality workforce.
Okay.
Can you go back to the slide we have been before?
This one?
Yes. So you said one of the parts of the recruitment strategy can be to be at universities. What do you think are the advantages of being present at university campuses?
First of all, you have a lot of students there from different fields. So, for example, at our German campus or even here at the campus, I saw that they had university days here, I think 1 week ago at the end of November. And your benefit is that you have students from different areas. So you have law, business, tourism, maybe healthcare and IT. And all these people who come to this campus every day will walk past your basically company, or if you have some people there, and will get into talking with them. And it's a great way to present your company to these students and early on attract talent.
Right, thanks.
You said that employee are attracted by story. Like, what kind of story can you tell? Like, what kind of a story can you tell your employee, and what kind of culture what kind of culture that can attract or keep them attracted? So something like that.
So once you hire the people, you can keep them attracted by, for example, giving them a raise after 1 or 2 years, and also having a clear path for their development within the company. So if they basically know how they can move up in the company, they will try to work towards this way, and basically that will benefit your company as well.
And what about the story? You said that they are attracted by story. Like,
by the story, okay. Yeah, by the story in general, yeah, of course. So, I mean, as I said before, it's not relevant for every company, but if you can build a company who has a great story, like, for example, in the healthcare industry, there are some industries or pharma concerns that try to cure cancer. And this basically is the story behind the company. We are going to change the world by bringing this new medication. And if you actually know that the company does something good for a lot of people, then you are maybe attracted to this company because you say, I like this goal, I can identify in my own work with it, and that I want to be part of this journey to cure cancer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Next question. Okay, so can you get back to your first?
Yes.
Get back to where you itemize some processes like education and
this slide?
correct.
This one, yeah.
Okay, what do you mean? Can you emphasize and expatiate more?
Of course. So let me just check. Yeah. Like the development is basically if you hire
Developing what? Developing
Yeah.
the company or developing the people? in the company?
developing the quality workforce. So basically developing the people working for the company so
Okay.
they can perform better at their job, which benefits your company in the long run. And I think starting with education, for example, you hired a bunch of students who are fresh out of university. They don't have much experience in the work environment. So you need to educate them, for example, on how to use some office programs. If you have certain, for example, SAP, it's like the big accounting software. Students normally don't know how to use it, so they need in-job training and education on how to use it, so they get better at what they actually do.
In this context, how can you differentiate education and mentorship?
So education could be like, for example, watching videos or guidelines or people explaining group. And mentorship is more one-to-one. So I've got one personal mentor who only attends to me, for example. And if I have any questions concerning everything about the job, the company, my own personal development, that's a person I can ask it. And he will teach me about how to do the job best. And like the education in general is more like the hard skills of the job, so not the personal mentorship.
Okay, then established career path, does it mean that those who employed have not been established?
I think everybody who is employed there has established a good position in the company, but the goal of most of the employees is to rise through the company. So after maybe 2 years, get a management position of managing small groups or projects on your own, and then maybe even rise to the top of the company. And it's really hard to do so if you don't know what's required of you. So if you have like a established career path in the sense of, I know after 2 years there might be a promotion, and after 4 years I would it's expected of me to perform interviews for new hires myself, or or become a mentor myself, for example. Then the person who works the job actually knows what's expected of him to get the next promotion and rise within the company.
Okay, so this expectation in question, is it expectation from the person or expectation from the company?
It's the expectations from the company, what the company expects of you. So new skills you should learn, work to perform, and how to best develop yourself into achieving the goals that the company wants. So if they set clear expectations on what to do, then you can fulfill those expectations. But if they don't, then you don't know what you should do best.
Wow, wonderful. So get to the first topic.
Yes.
I would like everybody here to tell me what he understands, and because this topic is very, very essential in the workforce. Say your first,
The first, yeah.
your main topic,
This one?
which is your main quality workforce.
The quality workforce, yeah.
So I would like each and every one of you to explain to me what you understand by quality workforce.
Yeah, I think as Christopher explained, quality workforce just means that, the workforce a company has, it not only depends like how much a company has, but as well like, the quality. So how good it is, how good are the person you have in your company, what is the result you get from them, and as well, can you go one slide or two slides, the slides you had before?
This one? This one?
Yeah, no. Well, I think anyway, yeah. It's about, as I said, it's not only about having much workforce, it's about the quality. So you have to see that in the recruitment, you get the right person to do the right job. So you have a high productivity, high efficiency person and a good working team together. And I think that's quite important.
Okay, so Oscar.
Yeah.
Correct. And then
Leonard.
Leonard.
So quality workforce, I think, is very important for a company. For example, the definitions you just gave. I think one of the biggest factors is, for example, the collaboration within the company, how they work together. And I think it just all puts it all together. So, for example, you have the hiring process, and then it's like about like how well do they work together? Like how do you get a team to even work with each other? And then also that collaboration then puts in the output. So I think it's one of the biggest factors a company needs to work on. And I think, the HR management, for example, has also a big say in it. So I think Christoph gave the biggest points away, and I think he did a very good job at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I also think the same as Leonard and Oscar said before. And I think you only have quality in your company when a company can only be good when the employees are doing good, and the employees are only doing good when they not only when they receive good money, but also they have to get other benefits, like as you mentioned before. And so it has to be good work-life balance and stuff like this. Yes.
Okay. Professor.
Okay, so can you please go one slide further? The quality workforce, I think most of the key points are said, but I want to highlight one thing here. The quality workforce is not about a single person. It's about a group of people working together. So everybody brings his own skills, because one person cannot have all the necessary skills that are needed in the company. So everybody brings his own skills, who he masters or he or she masters, and brings them into the quality workforce. So in the end, the quality workforce has all the skills. And yeah, that's the collaboration. I think everybody mentioned the collaboration here. That's what I want to highlight. Christoph, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I think that's important to mention.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's about the team and not the individuals.
Yeah, so to put it in easy words, what I understood today is workforce are the people working at the company, and quality I would measure is the success of the company's performance. And all in together, it's when the people at the company are working good, are working in a team collaborative. So all the key words you listed on the next slide. Yeah. Yes, all those things.
Okay, so
What I understand by that by quality workforce is all about teamwork and adaptability, how to collaborate to achieve your goal in your workforce.
Mr. Benjamin.
Yeah, what I understand by quality workforce is a group of employees working together to achieve an organization goal.
Okay, Marvin. So, Marvin, before I ask the next question, and my next question will be what if the teams are not working together? So, Marvin, what do you understand by workforce? Workforce, that's a good workforce. That's a group of people. A group of what?
A group of people, employees.
Oh,
This is a group of people, employees working together.
okay, now what if
That's the workforce. And then the quality, these are the skills and the abilities. The group of people that they impact into in enhance productivity and development.
So then what about the situation that they are not working together? Because as already been work.
It is a workforce, they have to work together.
Any come in a situation where they are not working together, but they are meant to work together. This department is fighting this department, and this other department gossiping against this department, and one department tends to present themselves as if they are the perfect department.
Yeah, the scenario you're talking about,
Competition. So,
we will still have workforce, but it's first off weak and the quality is not good. So working team is just the key
but then
fragment.
this particular department, they are working very hard, and they're actually very, very productive, and they're actually very efficient and effective. But then they tend to try to show themselves only that they are the perfect department, trying to undermine this particular department in the same company.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And then undermine this department itself. But in actual sense, you can see they are very productive. But then this productivity is centered towards unnecessary competition and toxic environment.
Okay, so we have one
They
department.
are doing good, but then they want to be seen as the other one doing good.
Okay, yeah, I think this is a problem because a department trying to isolate themselves from the whole company is bad, because every single person in every team, so every department, needs to understand that they're just a part of the whole company, and every single department needs in the end to work together to make the whole company to one whole thing. And if many departments decide, yeah, I will isolate, we are doing our stuff, that won't end good, because then you might compete, which is, I mean, competition in a company is good, I think. So every single worker will try to get better, but not at this point where you try to beat another department. I don't think this is the right thing.
I think to resolve the issue you addressed, Professor, we should implement shared goals for every person and shared goals for every team. So every team has to work towards the same goal, and so fighting between teams or individuals won't be beneficial to go towards the goal. So the fighting or the conflicts can be reduced to a minimum. And if there's a conflict, the other people working towards the shared goal will help to resolve the conflict or the issue. And you can also help by implementing incentives when the shared goal is reached, so everybody contributes to the work.
Okay. What do you have to say about this particular idea of competition among the faculties?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
okay, don't worry.
competition is good because if different departments compete within the company, then it maybe pushes some departments to work more hard. But I also agree with Christoph that you shouldn't have any conflict in your company and they have to work together. And basically, this can be achieved with the engagement and the vision of the company overall. So if they all work together towards one goal, as you said correctly, then there's the tendency to not, to work together, but also do it on a competing level. So having the benefits of the competition without having any disadvantages because people don't want to work together.
Any other person, any other point? Because this has been the problem in most companies, and then they're actually trying to compete among themselves in the same company, gossiping sometimes, trying to pull him down syndrome, So this has been a very big problem in most companies.
Yeah, I would say that always happens. The first step maybe would be that you talk to the person if you have problems with one individual. If that doesn't help, then maybe you go to your supervisors and talk with them about this problem. And if this doesn't help, maybe a change of teams could be the solution. So they relocate the workforce within the company. Yes.
Wow, that is a very wonderful idea. So, any other contribution? Benjamin, so in Africa, do you think the workforce is effective and efficient?
Depends.
Depends on how.
Maybe in a private sector, I think is effective, but in government sector, no, it's not.
What are your reasons for saying so?
Because we know that Nigerian government is biased and
You know that what?
Nigerian government is not organized and
How do
there's
you
a
know
lot of
that
politics.
Nigerian government is not
There is a lot of politics there, you know.
But there are a lot of politics doesn't mean that they are not organized. So you said they are not organized. How can you prove that?
There is a lot of corruption, you know,
How can you
in the
prove that
country.
there are a lot of corruption?
You can see the news trending all over.
What
you
if the news are saying the wrong thing and they are not investigative enough?
There is always atom of truth in any rumor, you know.
And then how always, but then how can you prove this one? If you are basing your position on the rumor, or you're basing your position on the newspaper, to say that your government is this or government, because they have to have facts there. They have to be critical enough, not just because of someone said.
Okay, this issue of CBN governor, you know, we all know about the story.
You are good, no?
Of course, you read newspapers.
I cannot impose reading newspaper on me, so you have to talk for yourself.
Okay, to my own understanding,
So
I
the
think
question is that workforce, quality workforce, do you think is applicable in your country, Nigeria?
like I said, it depends in a private companies or in a private
So the
sectors.
private companies, you may see them more.
Yeah.
But how about the public company like government?
I don't think.
Why?
Because this organization is controlled by corrupt leaders and.
How do you know they are corrupt?
We all know that Nigeria.
You are cool, no? So we also.
I know that Nigerian politicians are corrupt.
How? Because they might be manipulated by the newspaper.
No. I know about that.
How? What, do you have any practical
They loot
evidence?
public funds and they divert it
How
to.
do you know? Or is it because you read in the newspaper?
Of course, I read in the newspaper
Then
and
how do you
I
have,
see
do
in
you
the
have any
news.
practical experience to show?
Sometimes when at my leisure time, I listen to.
Or you listen to people not because you are participating?
No. I said I listen to news on the TV.
Because of news? So
Yeah.
because of news. So whatever news says is final.
It depends on the channels. There are some channels that doesn't lie.
There are some channels
Yes.
that are wonderful for you.
Yes.
And those channels are being controlled by gods or human beings that could be biased or not.
By human beings.
Those human beings, do you know where they belong? The political party they affiliated to, and the people they want to sell their own idea instead of another.
Not always.
That is not only how can you always believe in what they're saying because you don't have any practical knowledge of, because sometimes government officers may be doing something right and the newspaper may be misrepresenting it because of their selfish interest in the newspaper. So
Yes,
you get traffic.
Yes, you are right. You are right. But these are the things that happens, of often. We know the truth, and
you and who know where does it happen?
in Africa generally.
In Africa, that is one particular tested generalization among Africans because you study this person said it therefore. Do you have any evidence?
For now, I rest my case.
Okay, I think it's better you rest your case. You better rest your case because you don't have evidence to say so many things, not just because newspaper is telling you. Okay, now, Marvin, you're from Uganda. Do you think quality workforce is obtainable in Uganda? We have listened to German students, so let's.
It is applied or obtained.
Huh?
It is applied or obtained.
Is it applied? Whichever one. In Uganda.
Yeah.
That is if you know your country.
Yes, the workforce is applied because in Uganda there is competition in every sector.
Meaning what?
So workforces are applied, they are competing.
Workforces are applied.
Yeah.
And you're both in government and private institutions?
Yes, in private and government.
You have a quality workforce, or do you really understand the meaning of workforce?
Yes.
What is the meaning?
As I told before, quality workforce is and these are a group of people, and then quality, these are the skills and the abilities.
So in Uganda, all the workforce, all the companies are qualified.
They are not qualified.
All the people they are qualified. Even in the government of the Uganda, they are all qualified.
With government.
Is Uganda developed country or developing country or underdeveloped?
It is developing country.
It's developing?
Yeah.
Not yet developed.
Yeah,
Why?
not yet developed.
Why?
In which sector? Government or business?
Whichever one you think that will prove your point.
Why?
Because if your workforce, the company, is the quality of workforce is okay, as you projected, presented in the case of Uganda, why is this still in a developing stage?
For example, for business, maybe not enough tools and maybe not enough money.
Pardon?
In business, not maybe enough tools and money.
The business has enough.
Not enough tools, like.
Not enough. Why is it not enough when they have quality workforce, as you said? Or you don't understand what is quality workforce?
I understand it.
Then if you have a quality workforce in your country, it's supposed to be developed, not developing.
It is developing, not developed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then that means that
because it still has requirements to go to developed country.
Yeah, because the quality workforce, because that's been long. When did you get independent?
1962.
1963.
Yeah,
And
that's around 60 years. Yeah.
With the kind of quality workforce they are projecting.
Yeah, that's Uganda.
That is Uganda.
Yeah, that's Uganda. Yes.
Any other thing to add up? Okay, so So thank you very much. At this juncture, we need to thank Christopher for your presentation. Please, can we just thank you very much. Thank you.